Welcome, everyone. We are thankful for this final gathering, this beautiful place, this remarkable school. You are many, each of whom has touched us so deeply and enriched us so bountifully. Radiant minds in a sea of white gowns. The Westridge Class of 2026. Through knowing each other, our minds have been fed, our souls nourished, and our knowledge expanded. May this be a time of reflection on and profound gratitude for wonderful ideas, transformative moments, loving relationships, and content spirits. In marking and honoring this poignant transition, justifiably proud and appropriately humble, we celebrate. May we savor the power and joy of being together this one last time.
When I got notified to write this speech, the wind, 4 days before commencement, I thought to myself, that's just about the same time as I'd give myself to write a Harrison paper. So let's do this one last time. I'll make it short and sweet, just like me. To my fellow graduating classmates, awesome faculty and staff, our lovely orchestra and Glee Club, and all family, dear friends, and supporters, I welcome you into this celebration. The 64 of us have been all over campus and outside of it, from the costume shop to conducting research in labs, to volleyball courts and golf courses. Despite our different interests, it is our shared journey through these years that we've spent at Westridge that strings us together. Time flies when you're having fun. Fond memories flash to my mind at once, like going with friends to ask a teacher together questions, drawing on whiteboards before class, or rushing to sneak in one extra ride before grad night ends, which for me was Guardians of the Galaxy. And perhaps fun would not be the first adjective I'd use to describe moments like when I circled my final answer on a physics test, or when I furiously wrote down my last and unfortunately often incomprehensible point in an ICW conclusion. I can definitely say that time also felt like it was rushing past me then. There were also moments that seemed immeasurably long, waiting on college decisions, waiting for lunch at the Commons, and for many, watching the news day after day, waiting for change. However, I believe our school motto, Surgere Tentamus, or We Strive to Rise, reflects how well our class has risen to the occasion. Whether it was rising literally in time to make it to senior breakfast, directing student-organized walkouts, creating works for Westfest or the Perspectives in Literature Conference, we learned that growth required imperfection. To become good at something, you have to be willing to be bad at it first. Every rough draft, every mistake, and every challenge became an opportunity for me to improve. The struggles worth choosing are the ones that help you grow and uplift others. Above specific concepts or subjects, that lesson has stayed with me. And even though we've all arrived at this moment together, the path that brought us here and the paths that lie ahead will not be identical. But if there's one lesson that the college process has taught me, it's that none of us needed to become someone else. In St. Teresa's words, the splendor of the rose and the whiteness of the lily do not rob the violet of its scent, nor the daisy of its charm. If every flower wanted to become a rose, spring would lose its loveliness. What you can become, instead, is the best version of yourself. We have all been given opportunities, passions, and the education to utilize them. Our uniqueness as a class, I've seen, has made us stronger in our interactions, in our communities, in this community at Westridge, and in the impact I know we will leave behind. Choose what you want to do with this experience. As a chronic procrastinator and a big dreamer, I've come to realize there is no right moment to begin. Yesterday may have been the best time, but today is the next best one, not tomorrow. So try your hardest, reach for the stars, always keep an open mind. Never forget who you want to become. Savor every moment, or as Olympic figure skater and absolute diva Alyssa Liu put it, every moment you're there, you're gaining something. There's nothing to be lost. As we celebrate the point we've reached today, remember that we are in a process of becoming. We always will be. Excellence will always reside within you. We are here, and we aren't going anywhere but forward. Let us be proud of ourselves. Class of 2026, now is your time. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Manon Iwata. I want to first start by extending my warmest welcome and deepest gratitude to all the families, friends, and staff who have come to support and celebrate our graduating class of 2026. Now, observing the time of day, I think you may all be a little bit confused to why I've decided to begin a commencement speech with good morning instead of good evening. But I chose this greeting because throughout my 9 years at Westridge, yes, I'm a lifer, I realized these are the two words I've repeated the most. On the surface, we think of good morning as a simple courtesy, a polite, groggy reflex before our first cup of tea. But throughout my time here, I've seen how these two words can completely transform a community. It started at the campus gates. For 9 years, I've been greeted by the smiling faces of Carline staff and faculty members who have guided me through school with their uplifting words. And let's be honest, anyone who can maintain a smiling face while managing the utter gridlock of Westridge traffic Carline deserves a Medal of Honor. Inside the horseshoe, I found that even with teachers whose classes I've never actually taken, our routine mornings bridged the gap. We weren't just passing strangers on a path, we became mentors and mentees, anchors for one another in the present moment. But it didn't just stop with the faculty and staff. As I walked onto campus, those two words connected me with all of you. It was good morning called out from across the courtyard, a sleepy wave while walking to our lockers, or even a shared smile over a commons breakfast burrito. That is the power of a genuine good morning. It's a brief pause in the simulation of our busy, busy lives. It's a moment where we look up from our screens. We breathe, and we recognize each other not just as classmates, but as comrades walking alongside one another. And that is what a Westridge Good Morning is really about. It's about the choice to bring your full, bright, and bold self into every single day. It's an act of selflessness. It says, I am here, I see you, and we are in this together. Our class has lived this truth every single day. We've seen it through those 11 p.m. crunch times, trying to frantically hit submit after long hours of after-school Freaky Friday theater practice. Trust me, I survived my very first theater performance this year, and I finally understand the sheer panic of trying to learn choreography while mentally drafting a thesis statement. We've seen it when we were rushing through our first block, terrified of a daunting thermodynamics exam or an in-class writing assignment, Aristotle and Plato's contrasting philosophies. Yet you still took that time that morning to put together a ridiculous, fun, and coordinated outfit to cheer on our friends for home games or a club activity. And I've been especially lucky to have this support built right into my own home. my twin sister, has been there with me in every step of the way, surviving the same deadlines and always knowing exactly when to give me the biggest bear hug when I need it the most. I'm so grateful for her, and I'm equally grateful to our entire class to be surrounded by these people and share the exact same generous spirit. That is what I love most about our class of 2026. We don't just show up, but we show up for each other. We bring our full spirits forward to lift the people around us. As we prepare to step outside of the Westridge gates for the very last time, the world ahead of us can feel very chaotic and even busy. It might feel tempting to put our heads down and just rush through all the motions. But I challenge you to take the spirit of our Westridge mornings with you. Keep pausing the simulation, keep offering the hand of support, and keep pausing the simulation, keep offering the hand of support when someone feels unseen, and keep bringing the absolute best, most authentic versions of yourself every single morning. Before I wrap up my speech, I want to take a second to thank my family. To my parents and twin sister, thank you for your endless sacrifices, the late night boba runs that always fuel my energy, and the love that made today possible. As much as it does to me, this milestone belongs to you. Class of 2026, we've had a lot of long nights, early mornings, and incredible adventures ahead of us. But no matter where we go, it will always be the perfect time to push our spirits forward. So for the very last time, good morning, Westridge, and congratulations, class of 2026.
Hi everyone, I'm Lena, and it is such an honor to welcome all of you here today to celebrate the beautiful and inspiring class of 2026! Woo! In these next minutes, you'll see just how much these people mean to me. After all, there is an unrivaled amount of fondness I experience waking up to our iconic WhatsApp group chat, exploding with hundreds of messages. But where did it all begin? Well, when I first set foot here, I was in awe to say the least. I witnessed my fellow classmates struggling to roll up our cardboard-textured white skirts and observed the top-tier level of green this campus is able to boast, pondering, could this place and these people really become a home? And after dancing to the Cranberries song, Linger, and stuffing our faces with s'mores at our senior sunset, moments of which have been lovingly captured on our digicams, I can affirm the answer is yes. This place and these people are a home. Class of 2026, we survived what every early 2000s movie convinced us was a matter of life or death, high school. And not just any high school, we made it through Westridge School for Girls. We did so eating Common's breakfast burritos, tearing apart the Odyssey through our feminist lenses, swinging in the senior hammock as we contemplated our mid-semester existential crises, and of course, pulling up to school in Uggs as atmospheric rivers drenched our outdoor campus. But beyond surviving, we know how to live impactful, not just impressive lives. We've understood current events so deeply, held them so close to our hearts, and believed that shared humanity and sustainable action will live in every conversation we have, both inside and outside of the classroom. Special shout out to our incredible teachers and families for reminding us of this every single day. As a class, As a class, we continue our impact by existing in the in-between and daring to see the infinite possibility built into each finite moment. We personify the slash, refusing to be defined by one title and instead exploring what it means to be artists/activists/actors/athletes/wholehearted human beings. And let's not forget we are, and always will be, each other's hype squads. On Instagram posts, on the stage, on the field, in the classroom, through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, we surround each other with pure and unlimited joy. As we embark on this next chapter, I hope each of you knows that we have the courage, the curiosity, and the compassion to thrive. So let's free fall into the unknown and learn for the sake of learning, while also trusting ourselves and knowing that we can be our own role models. We don't have to have it all figured out, but we do have to have faith in the people we are and the communities we will always be a part of. Class of 2026, thank you for being the people I've grown with. You are each exceptional. It has been a privilege to cross paths with you, and I know you will break glass ceilings while maintaining unparalleled humility and kindness. I love you all endlessly. Thank you so, so, so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Kristin Chuang, and as senior class president, I have the honor of presenting our class gift to Westridge. High school anywhere, but especially here, is not easy. But through our compassion for each other, our unshakable determination, and dedication to our beliefs, in my 9 years as a Westridge lifer, I've had the privilege of watching our class grow into the intelligent, talented, capable learners we are today. And in turn, this class has shaped Westridge back, challenging it to be a brighter and kinder place than we found it. The class of 2026 has excelled in every area, from academics to athletics to art, research, service, journalism, leadership, with or without a title, and countless other parts of our community. And this isn't just humble bragging, it's humble bragging with a point, which is that one day, what we've done here will be just the start of our many adventures and accomplishments. When it came time to choose our class gift, we wanted to make a contribution that would leave a lasting impact on the everyday experiences of Westridge students. We chose to support the installation of period product dispensers and provide period products on campus, helping ensure that students have easy access to essential resources when they need them. This gift reflects something we've learned during our time at Westridge, that a strong community is built not only through academic excellence and achievement, but also through thoughtfulness, empathy, and caring for one another. We hope this gift helps future Tigers feel supported, confident, and empowered each day. Thank you to our families, teachers, staff, friends, for being such a big part of this journey. And thank you to my classmates for making my Westridge experience so special. There's no one else I'd rather have spent my childhood with. Here's to opening doors, leaving legacies, and believing in the future of Westridge. Thank you so much.
I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills when the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, rise above, and I sail through the changing ocean tide. Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, time makes you bolder. Even children get older, and I'm getting older too.
Hello, and welcome seniors, our wonderful class of 2026. Welcome families, friends, faculty, staff, trustees, and special guests. I am Andrea Kassar, head of school, and I'm very excited and honored to be with all of you today as we celebrate our graduates on this very important commencement day. You are an engaged and memorable class of 2026. You are, according to your own thoughtful and accurate self-description, cooperative, creative, supportive of each other, outspoken, activists, open-minded, playful, politically engaged, passionate, funny, and all in. You put your all into everything that you do. You strive to make the world around you better. You have immersed yourself in every aspect of Westridge. Truly, you have taken on all of it with care and humor and energy. From the classroom to the stage, front and backstage, and playwriting, to athletics, to leadership, to student voices, to spyglass, to community service, to the ceramics and art studios, to writing and math centers, student life, to playing beautiful music together. You have spoken about the ways your class has had to grow up in high school in a complex time, from the fires to the ethical challenges of AI, to the dizzying and often scary news cycles in a polarized country and world. And yet, through it all, you have maintained your optimism, energetic spirit, and deep sense of purpose. I have loved growing up together with all of you in upper school during my first 4 years at Westridge. At Chalk Day, I mentioned your inspiring leadership at our recent town meetings, the sense of gratitude and optimism that you brought to the space that allowed our whole upper school to feel more comfortable being honest and positive and vulnerable about their affection and gratitude for Westridge and for their lives. That's such a wonderful thing. While you will be spread out all next year and beyond across the country and in some cases across the world, please know that you are always connected not only to each other always, but to Westridge. As I said to you at your senior luncheon, and it's true, I hear from alums of all ages that despite very different and extraordinary life trajectories, despite college, graduate degrees, alums often feel that their lives have been shaped most fundamentally and meaningfully by the foundational learning, the lifelong friendships, and the sense of self that they formed here at Westridge. I know that this will be true for you as well. Now, I don't know if you've heard this about me, but I am an English teacher. And there is nothing I love more than to analyze Tolstoy's, or is it Dostoevsky's, One Fish, Two Fish. For those of you who don't know, this is in reference to their senior skits last week. Okay, this speech isn't about Tolstoy or Dostoevsky, unfortunately, but maybe you'll agree it's still relatively on brand for me, as they say. Many years ago, I was thinking about the lyrics of one of my favorite songs, All I Really Want, which is the first song on Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill, an album that came out in 1995, the summer I was exactly your age. Here are a few of the lyrics. And all I really want is some patience, a way to calm the angry voice. And all I really want is deliverance, a place to find a common ground, and all I really want is some justice. The implication here is that what Morissette wants and what she really wants aren't quite the same. That she hasn't been able to say all of what she really wants. And so this song is a type of confessional that feels like an intensely freeing process. And this idea made me think of other songs that have the lyrics of really want. For instance, the Spice Girls. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Again, a female voice or perspective singing about the concept of what I really want, the underlayer, the actual, the deeper and truer thing, different from what she goes around saying she wants in a more public, everyday way. There is no doubt to me that there is something deeply gendered here. I remember thinking that it feels much harder to imagine a song with a male voice desperate to declare, hey, here's what I really want, with as much revelation and confession. One sec, sorry. And then as I got older, I came across a quotation from feminist psychologist Carol Gilligan. In discussing her process of listening to girls speak, she writes, quote, "My ears prick up at the phrase, to be honest. Is it a prelude to a change in voice, a move into relationship, so that rather than saying what I say, I'll say what I would say if I were to be honest? At what level of consciousness are people aware of making this shift? And also, what prompts someone to do so? A human voice. To recognize that the voice it differs from is a patriarchal voice, and to realize that where patriarchy is in force and enforced, the human voice is a voice of resistance," end quote. Gilligan explains that this splitting between what the speaker says and what she really wants to say is the voice of self-sacrifice, something less human. And I thought, oh wow, here is exactly the idea that I had been thinking about all those years ago when I first heard Alanis's song. To be honest is the same as all I really want. And of course, often, not saying what we really think or admitting what we really want can have a wise and long-term strategy to it, particularly in a world where saying true things could be dangerous or come with backlash. All of this reminds me of my favorite line in our Westridge School song. The faculty and staff know all about this because I talk about it all the time. But for those who don't know, our school song, Surgere Tentamus, We Strive to Rise, is based on our Latin motto. Our founder, Mary Rani, had this song commissioned the year after Westridge began, which was in 1913. In the second verse of this song, the lyrics go like this: "And yet within our Latin motto, so that is Surgere Tentamus, we strive to rise, lies a hidden meaning too, and we'll strive to learn its lesson in whatever things we do." When I saw these lyrics for the first time, I thought, my goodness, how interesting. A hidden meaning. What a mystery. How subversive, how fun. And of course, we can't know for sure what this hidden meaning is because unfortunately, we can't ask Mary Rani. But remember that these lyrics were written in the backdrop of the suffragist movement. To claim openly that we strive to rise is rising to full citizenship, to the vote, could have been met with significant backlash. If this is so, then this message is certainly an activist and countercultural one. It is what we really want, a hidden meaning, a way to claim what we really want implicitly in a world where we can only say half-truths aloud. And indeed, women are often linked to the idea of subtext, even in art, culture, and humor. Two similar New Yorker cartoons that I recall make this point. In the first one, a woman is saying to a man, quote, "I know you got my text, but did you get my subtext?" And in the second one, two men are at a table, and one is holding his cell phone and says to the other, quote, "She's texting me, but I think she's also subtexting me." In both cases, it is the woman not the man who is depicted as a speaker of subtext. Perhaps because, as Gilligan notices, women are so often socialized to speak on two levels. Subtext becomes a more common language. But at what cost is all of this? Can saying what we want, but not what we really want, for many years lead to a forgetting, at least consciously, of what we really want? A kind of knowing that gets further and further away from conscious thought the longer it stays hidden. A separation from the self. But I think this knowing still lives somewhere, even when it is hidden or deeply embedded in subtext. Perhaps in our physical body, maybe in our dreams. Many of you studied the topic of adolescence in your perspectives class this year. In the Voices in Literature Assembly connected to this course, author Francesca Leah Bloch of Weetzie-Bat fame spoke about a knowing in adolescence. I loved what she said, that often she feels that her younger self would give better advice to her older self than vice versa. And that is a reason for all of you to trust the wisdom of your youth. The idea here is that there is a kind of adolescent intelligence and self-knowledge that might actually be closer to truth, a closeness to what we really want, before it gets interrupted for many years by half-truths, and therefore harder to access. Maybe this is why people in midlife are advised often to remember what they loved most as children and adolescents, and take up those hobbies and passions once again to reclaim a feeling of authenticity and self-connection. So here's a hope I have for all of you. Right now, as you are moving on from adolescence, try consciously and explicitly to express what you know so far that you really want. Write those things down or say them to a trusted friend. And yes, what you really want will change and shift and grow and evolve as you age and discover new things about yourselves and the world around you. But actually, I bet a lot of what you really want at its deepest core won't change entirely. So yes, use hidden meanings and subtext strategically when necessary. But my hope is that you do not let too many years of hidden meanings or subtexts force you to lose conscious access to what you really want. Know your own real wants as best you can. And if being in a forward-thinking girls' school teaches you anything, it is also that this isn't just an individual thing. Tentamus is we, a collective. What are the collective things you really want for women, for marginalized groups, for the world itself? Mary Ranney's really want was to form a girls' school to give girls access to the rigors of education their brothers were getting. And here we all are, 113 years later, with a collective want of sending all of you amazing humans out into the world to be the courageous and compassionate leaders our world so desperately needs. Now, when I listen to Alanis' song, the really want for justice, for deliverance, for patience, for change, has a broader perspective that comes with age, but it's still always there on some level with the same fiery fervor it once had when I was your age. And in fact, one of the things I love most about being in a girls' school and spending my days with adolescents is that it keeps what I really want in the foreground with a powerful sense of vitality and purpose. And I never, ever want to lose that. And my greatest wish for all of you is that you never lose that either. That you go forth and love and relish your lives, honest and ever open to what you really want for yourselves, the people you love, and the world around you. Congratulations, class of 2026. We send you all profound Westridge love. Here's to a life of knowing the inherent value of what you really, really want. And now it is my absolute honor to be able to introduce our commencement speaker. Lena Alfi is a dedicated leader with over 15 years of international development experience, most recently serving as the CEO of Malala Fund. With a deep passion for education and women's rights, Lena has spent her career casting strategic vision and forging transformative partnerships to advance education for girls worldwide. In her recent role, she led a global team of experts and advocates who are working tirelessly to ensure that all girls have access to 12 years of free, safe, and quality education. Prior to joining Malala Fund, she worked at Project Concern International, Vital Voices, Mercy Corps, and the Middle East Children's Institute. Her work at these organizations included building strategic partnerships which aim to address the educational and humanitarian needs of women and children in the Middle East, conducting in-depth research on the impact of leadership awards, mentorship, and business networks on women entrepreneurs, and helping develop and launch the Women Empowered Initiative, supporting women's microfinance programs in India and East Africa. In addition to being a Westridge alumna from the class of 2005, Lena is a proud Syrian-Egyptian mother of two. She holds a bachelor's degree in art history and international relations from the University of Southern California and a master's degree in global human development from Georgetown University. It is my honor to bring Lena to the stage.
Hi, everyone. As Andrea mentioned, my name is Lena Alfi. I am from the Westridge Class of 2005. To the graduating class, what an honor it is to stand before you today. I remember being in this exact same spot, literally on this field, 21 years ago, and having some of the same feelings you probably do. Nervous, excited, proud, slightly overwhelmed, and feeling like I was stepping into the unknown. And also counting down every second until you finally get to hold your diploma. So hang tight, I'm almost done. My experience at Westridge, I am sure similar to yours, was challenging, inspiring, and later I realized formative in ways I have only come to appreciate with time. When I first left Westridge, there were so many teachers, some of whom are still here, classes and friendships that have stayed with me. But looking back now, more than 2 decades later, I realized the greatest gift Westridge gave me was not a transcript, was not a college acceptance, or even the confidence to stand before you today. It gave me something far more valuable, a love of learning. And learning in the sense that not simply acquiring information. Learning is about expanding your world, sharpening you, strengthening you, empowering you. And if there is one thing I hope you remember from today, it is this. The most powerful thing you graduate with is not what you've already learned. It is your willingness to keep learning. And as long as you continue learning, your power will continue to grow. Before preparing these remarks, I had the opportunity to sit with a group of you. And since we are at Westridge, after all, I expected to meet very bright young women. What I did not expect was to leave feeling genuinely hopeful about the future. So many of you understood the privilege of studying and growing at a place like Westridge. So many of you were keenly aware of the world around you. I was struck by your passion for social justice, your desire to give back to your communities, the way you spoke about one another with such deep love and respect and admiration. You had confidence in your identities, not in the sense that you think you have all the answers, but in the sense that you are unafraid to become fully yourselves. And then there were, of course, the dreams that you shared. Neuroscience, international affairs, feminist studies, economics, dentistry, the list goes on, theater, playwriting, film, so much more. And what was clear is you are not entering this world waiting for permission to contribute to it. You are already imagining how to shape it. And what struck me most was not the specific careers you described. It was your curiosity. It was the questions you were asking. It was the problems that you aspired to solve. And I think curiosity is often underestimated, but every scientific breakthrough begins with someone asking, what if? Every work of art, every meaningful change, every social movement, it all begins with curiosity. For me, one class at Westridge that stood out and ultimately inspired my major at USC was AP Art History with Betty Cole. I absolutely loved it, and when I arrived at USC, I decided to major in art history. I imagined myself spending my career in museums and discovering forgotten paintings and working in dusty archives. But what art history taught me was something much bigger than art. I thought I was learning about paintings and sculptures and architecture. What I was really learning was how to ask questions, how to be curious. Why did people create what they created? What did they value? What inspired them to create their work and share it with the world? The answers mattered, of course, but curiosity behind those questions mattered even more. And that curiosity followed me to USC and beyond. Over time, I realized that what fascinated me was not simply art itself, but people, human experiences, human stories, human potential, how life was captured through art, how experiences differed from place to place and era to era. Why did they differ? I took a general ed course in international development at USC, and suddenly a whole new world opened up. I became so curious about this field, and I dove into courses about it and read books and talked to everybody. I loved it so much that I ended up adding a new major and ultimately pursuing a career I had never even contemplated. So, first piece of advice, it is okay to change your mind. You may be graduating today certain about what you want to do and who you want to become, but stay curious. It may change, and be open to that change. That curiosity changed the trajectory of my life and taught me something I hope you carry with you. Curiosity is not a personality trait. It is a tool. It fuels learning, and learning expands what is possible for you. Because my parents were as wonderful as they were, and I'm sure as wonderful as all of you here today, and because they came to this country as immigrants in pursuit of a better life, they made sure that my siblings and I understood the privilege that we were living in. They taught us that the bubble of Pasadena was not the world. They reminded us that for much of the globe, life is defined by struggle, perseverance, sacrifice, and hope that the next generation might have more opportunities than theirs. After I graduated, I pursued a career in international development and kept asking questions about why some people are afforded the lives they have while others are not, and how that can change. I traveled, volunteered, interned, I worked wherever I could, and over the years I found myself in classrooms, villages, cities. I met children for whom education was not the norm, but a hard-won opportunity. And I met families for whom safety was not a given, but a daily uncertainty. None of those meaningful opportunities in my life came from having all the answers. They came from remaining open enough to keep asking the questions of why. Every new experience was a lesson that expanded my understanding of what was possible. As you continue your pursuit of learning beyond Westridge, what may be even more important than asking questions is your ability to stay humble and listen. Again, this is a tool that you can hone with you that will take you far, your ability to listen. Years ago, I was working in a refugee camp in Jordan that housed Syrians displaced by the civil war. And around 80,000 people were living there. The camp was filled with aid organizations from around the world, and everywhere you looked were people in cargo vests and tennis shoes trying to solve enormous problems: housing for 80,000 people, food distribution, water, healthcare, education. Each organization arrived with experts and resources and a whole plan and a budget. And there was one challenge that seemed impossible to solve: reliable internet. All these experts were brought in, thousands of dollars were spent, different systems were tested, yet for months, internet access remained unreliable or non-existent in large parts of this camp. And this wasn't simply an inconvenience. Families relied on internet to communicate with loved ones, students needed it to keep learning, aid organizations needed it to coordinate critical services. At the time, I was working with an organization that ran informal education centers to help children make up for the years of school that they lost. And I began hearing rumors that there were parts of the camp where internet worked surprisingly well. My family is originally Syrian, so I spoke the language and developed close relationships with some of the families there, and eventually some parents explained what had happened. The internet problem had already been solved. Not by the engineers, not by the consultants, not by the international organizations. It had been solved by a group of teenagers living in the camp. These young people had figured out how to build and share a functioning network across sections of the camp. And while all these experts kept searching for solutions, the people living with the problem every day had quietly found one themselves. When I asked why more people didn't know about it, one parent gave a simple answer: nobody asked. Some of the organizations were so focused on solving the problem themselves that they never stopped to listen to the people closest to it. And perhaps more importantly, they never expected the solution to come from a group of teenagers. Time, money, effort had been wasted because people had overlooked the knowledge already present in the community. They overlooked it because they weren't listening. And that experience taught me something I've carried with me ever since. While curiosity may open the door to learning, humility is what allows us to walk through it. Knowledge and talent are everywhere, but we only gain access to them when we are willing to listen. When we assume we already know the answer, we stop learning. The organizations in that camp weren't lacking intelligence or degrees or experience. They were lacking humility, and humility is what keeps that learning alive. So stay humble and listen more than you speak. Some of the most important lessons in your life will come from people who you least expect. There's another pattern I've seen throughout my career. Learning changes people's lives, and nowhere is that more evident than in the education of girls. Most recently, as Andrea said, I ran an organization called Malala Fund, founded by girls' education activist Malala Yousafzai. And Malala Fund works to ensure that all adolescent girls can access and complete their education by funding and supporting education activists to fix broken systems around the world. Study after study tells us the same thing. One of the greatest investments we can make in the future of our world is educating girls. When girls are educated, societies become safer, families are healthier, economies grow stronger, innovation thrives, and communities become more resilient in the face of change and conflict. The value of educating girls, of course, goes beyond textbooks. The gold standard is an education that develops the whole person, education that teaches students how to ask questions, how to be humble. And that is what you all experienced here at Westridge, an example of what education can and should be for every girl around the world. We often hear the phrase, knowledge is power, and it has become so familiar it risks sounding cliche. But after spending so much time working on this, I've come to believe something slightly different. Learning creates power. Knowledge matters, and degrees matter, and the pursuit of what you're going to do matters, but it is the continued pursuit of learning that transforms life, especially for women and girls. Learning creates the power to make informed decisions, the power to adapt, the power to imagine a future that is different from the present, and perhaps most importantly, the power to help others do the same. Today, there are 122 million girls around the world who are out of school and do not have access to that power, and you do. There will be moments in your life where you forget just how important that is, and sometimes we all need a reminder. So I'd like to share one that I received recently. Last year, I was traveling to Tanzania for work, and I met a girl in a rural part of the country, and by coincidence, her name was also Lena, and I promise her name is not what made her remarkable. Her spirit is. Lena is 13 and absolutely full of life, and when I met her, she spoke with such enormous enthusiasm about her love of learning. Every day, she walks nearly 3 miles to school along a long and often very dangerous road, and then she makes the journey home, carrying liters of water she fills at the school fountain for her family. She told me that despite the challenges in her life, school is her hub of power, the place where she discovers her potential, expands her world, and imagines the future she wants to create. It is that sense of power that gives her hope and inspires her dream of becoming a doctor. She knows she's one of the fortunate ones, and she considers the opportunity to learn a privilege that is worth every step. What has stayed with me is her conviction that her future will be bigger than her circumstances. She has a hope that persists despite the obstacles in her path. And since meeting her, I have thought often about her phrase, hub of power. Not hub of achievement, not hub of degrees, not hub of success, not hub of prestige, hub of power. Because she understands something that many adults forget. Learning is not valuable because it guarantees a particular outcome. It is valuable because it expands what is possible. Every person you meet, every book you read, every idea you encounter, expands your ability to navigate the world, to contribute to it, to lead it, to shape what comes next. And as I look out at all of you today, I see that same power. Not because your journeys have been identical to Lena's, but because you too have been given the tools to shape your future and the opportunity to make a difference in the world around you. The hope that that young woman carries because of the power she knows she holds, despite the odds against her, is the same hope I feel when I look at each of you today. Now, I want to return to the conversation I had with some of you last month, because alongside the deep gratitude you expressed, there was another feeling, fear. While you all feel prepared academically for what comes next, you shared that you're nervous about the world beyond Westridge. And honestly, I understand it. The world you are inheriting can feel deeply overwhelming. Social progress is fragile, conflict and genocide dominate headlines, climate change presents enormous challenges, and AI is transforming nearly every industry and raising questions none of us can fully answer yet. It is natural to feel uncertain, but uncertainty is not something to fear. It is something to prepare for. And your greatest defense against uncertainty is to continue investing in your learning, to grow it, to nurture it, to expand it. You express that you may never again find something quite as safe, quite as loving, quite as supportive as what you experienced here. And the truth is you might not. You may never again find a community exactly like Westridge. But what you will find is other kinds of beauty and other sources of learning. Beauty in friendships with people whose lives look nothing like your own. Beauty in unfamiliar ideas, beauty in challenge. You have just completed the first chapter of your journey, and the next chapter is about to be even more full. You are now adults, and adulthood is not about recreating the comfort of the places that shaped you. It is about allowing those places, like Westridge, to give you the courage to step into the spaces that will continue shaping you. So, what do I hope you take with you today? Stay curious. Curiosity will fuel your learning. Stay humble. Humility will sustain your learning. Keep listening, because there is so much to hear from so many sources. And never stop learning, because learning grows your power. To the parents and the families here today, well done. Thank you for choosing your girls. Thank you for believing in them, for investing in them, not just financially, but emotionally, intellectually, and wholeheartedly. Everything you sacrificed and poured into them is among the very best investments you could have ever made. And to the graduates, you did it. You made it to the finish line, the first one. Keep going, keep learning. The world's future is so much brighter because you're stepping into it. And congratulations to this very special class of Westridge 2026.
It is now my privilege, as chair of the Board of Trustees, to read one line announcing what we all have come to witness, the words confirming that the students behind me will receive their diplomas. With the authority vested in me by the state of California and the trustees of Westridge School, I hereby confer these diplomas, each in testimony to the completion of the required course.
Evelyn Alvarado. Irene Joanne Awori. Lauren Elizabeth Carruthers. One with the mom. Finley Acadia Carver. Helena Chen. Sabrina Chung. Adelaide Mei-Ching Chow. Kristin Chung. Sloan Alexandria Criddle. Isabel Angelique De Leon. Sydney Peyton Aram. Yuki Feng. Lucia Flores Rojas. Emerson Forrester. Sienna Marie Call Garrison. Melina High. Isabel Claire Hector. Olivia Herr. Sky Enal. Kano Iwata. Manon Iwata. Mina Zhang. Congratulations. Sage Lee Kaz. Eliza Suyun Kim. Yoi Hei Ko. Redo. Kira Ram Krishnaiah. Nina Clara Krishnaiah. Alexia Kira Leadis. Taya Grace Lemmon. Avani Sukai Lepa. Selena J. Lynn. Elise Lynn. Emily Lynn. Joanna Liu. Melissa Liu. Audrey Maying Lord. Whitley Soleil Lowry. Caroline Barnett McCumber. Elise Ire Mao. Catherine Lily Masters. Madison Riley Mermelstein. Lily Zoe Louise Newton. Esperanza Davin Orozco Carey. Sophie Inez Otto. Angel Jocelyn Pan. Layla Bognot Raleigh. Michaela Hazel Randolph. Arden Iva Richardson. Woo! Woo! Amanda Sheriffs. Vivian Collins Stamberg. Olivia Summer Tan. Zoe Sophia Ray Taylor. Josie Landis Tipton. Valentina Vera. Hazel Carmela Vogel. Michaela Xingfei Wang. Lauren Jiu Wang. Grace Maribel Weiland. Chloe Elise Volas. Josephine Maya Wong. Charlotte Mia Yang. And Sophia Sohyun Yu. Honored guests, beloved family members, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, and administration, I am honored to present and to say one last time, good morning, to the class of 2026. Graduates, now is the time to move your tassel to the other side of your cap and throw your poppers. Go forth. Move on with your promising lives. Go with confidence. Continue to serve, to touch hearts, and to embrace new ideas. Continue to believe that you can make a difference in this world and that you can do the impossible. May you never settle for easy answers or convenient truths. May you always have trusted friends. May you pay attention to what you know is right and to what you really, really want, to what stirs your mind. Think of what you love and what brings tears to your eyes. We are grateful and blessed to have known you. Lucky is the world that receives you. You know who you are. So go and know that you go with our love. If the audience will stand while we sing Surgere Tentamus.